Welcome to the Epic Man Podcast, where we let our curiosities and theories run wild and sometimes talk relevant news. I'm Josiah, and with me are my two friends and co-hosts, Ben and Michael. How are you guys doing today?
Oh boy,
that good,
one
huh?
episode. We have two episodes where you were doing better.
Okay, yeah,
2 episodes, and then you went right back to it.
Let's not discount this here, okay? I did good. I did 2 episodes.
No, that's not like listen.
I mean, you did all right.
I haven't hit you for 2 weeks.
Well, hey, works. At least I'm not calling you by your full name, Michelangelo. So that's good.
That's right.
That's fair.
Except for that you just did. So like,
oh yeah. You didn't hear
but
that.
It's okay. Nobody heard that. Nobody heard that.
But hey, isn't it awesome that you are named after a Ninja Turtle? Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, not like a freaking, like great artist or something. Just freaking a Ninja Turtle. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll kill you all and make you ghosts.
In fact, the artist didn't exist.
Speaking of ghosts.
That was really forced. I don't like it.
I don't care. You're going to have to get used to it. We're going in dry.
We're very forceful.
It's like the worst way to go.
It is October. It is
spooky month. Let's go, baby.
We talked about werewolves already. So
it's time for bonfires and furries.
Bonfires and furries and trick-or-treating.
Furries dancing around a bonfire. Let's go.
It is time for
if you watched our last episode, you understand why it's time for furries and bonfires.
Yes.
And why Mike really doesn't want to have anything.
I just got a text from my wife that said spooky dukes.
Ooh.
So we're talking
Sometimes
about
I have spooky
text her
dookies.
back and say furries.
No, I don't want to do that. She's already concerned enough as it is with some of the things she hears and stuff.
Would your wife be into like some furry stuff?
No, she would not be into furry stuff.
I'm trying to I'm still trying to get Ben to wear his stinking unicorn costume that I got him, but he won't do it. Makes me really sad.
A man bought another grown man a uniform costume.
I paid like $40 for that costume. I gave it to Ben for Christmas. Ben seemed really excited about it, and he still hasn't worn it. Makes me sad.
Maybe he has worn it. He just won't tell you.
I don't think so. I don't think
right.
It was locked. I mean, it was in his storage unit. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Ben never wears his unicorn onesie.
He wears the pickle costume more than his unicorn costume.
That's true. If you go check out Epic Man, Ben has worn a pickle costume on multiple occasions. It's a real thing.
I'm also drinking a beer. I just want to point that out. It's called.
Don't plug the beer if they're not supporting us. Listen, we need sponsors, not free deals.
It has like some sort of weird demon name or something.
Nice.
Deleterious is what it's called, and it has a skull on it. And you guys want to hear the description of this beer? It's actually kind of insane. Okay, listen to this. Aromas of vanilla, rich dark chocolate, and raisin showcase this imperial stout aged in bourbon barrels with whole vanilla beans, roasty sweet, and delicate vanilla and subtle notes of oak lead into a smooth, warming finish. You guys like that?
Sounds nice.
No, I don't like that at all.
Sounds really nice.
None of that meant anything to me.
Sounds really nice. It means a lot to me.
It didn't
mean sounds really nice
to me. But
Ben is a man of culture, so he understands.
I am.
I don't drink beer.
I understand a good beer.
Wow, that is actually really good. Holy cow.
That sounds really good. Do you have more of those?
No.
Dang it.
I just bought one.
Heard.
It's like, I feel like drinking beer is like drinking coffee. I just don't understand.
And I love both.
Yikes.
So I bought this at like it's you might have heard of it, Ben. It's called the Mega Bev in Grand Rapids.
Yeah. Yep. I know exactly where that is.
Yeah. So I went in there yesterday and I got a whole assortment of beers and stuff. And so I went over through the whiskey section for a second.
Mm-hmm.
They have
whiskey,
a bottle of whiskey over there.
Whiskey
that costs $2,000.
Nice.
What is it? Why it costs $2,000? Because you guys no, it's because you guys will pay $2,000. It's
That's
like
because real whiskey, like whiskey lovers, will genuinely pay that much money.
Yeah, I know. It's because you guys keep drinking it, and you have to like up the game. It's like coffee. The reason coffee gets expensive.
This definitely tastes like $2,000.
Well, a bat pissed on these beans 16 years ago, and now we've let them sit in a barrel covered in bat piss, and so now it's only exclusively bat piss coffee. And you're like, I'll spend $6,000 on that.
Okay, it's not a bat. It's like a raccoon cat. The civet, right?
You eat
the civet, yeah, the civet.
Drink.
Have you guys ever?
Beans
if you guys haven't,
that were crapped out of a creature's butthole.
Yeah, like a raccoon cat.
Wow, listen,
civets are so cute.
I don't care.
Adorable.
Listen, there's a lot of cute things in the world.
They poop out coffee beans, and then you make coffee out of it.
Chinchillas are cute.
Kopi Luwak is what that coffee is called. I just want to point out.
No, chinchillas are cute, and somebody was like, "Dude, they poop out the best hot dogs." I'd be like, "No, I won't eat." That is where I draw the line.
Well, yeah, it's because hot dogs are disgusting.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to eat a hot dog out of it.
You're eating coffee beans that came out of something's butthole.
Yeah, but they're like dried and stuff.
No,
processed. You know,
I took the corn out of your poop and I dried it and I cleaned it and processed it. Would you eat the corn?
Not out of your poop, no.
Well, I wouldn't eat it out of anybody's poop, Josiah.
But maybe a civet.
No, you don't eat poop.
Hey, if it's a cute enough animal.
Yeah, it's a cute, adorable little cat thing.
I don't care how cute the animal is. Listen, it's just early on in the episode and I'm already screaming at you. Don't eat poop. Poop is bad.
No, you aren't eating the poop.
You're eating the coffee beans.
Yeah, the poop's gone.
Unbelievable.
The
poop isn't it. The reason it tastes good is because it was pooped. It's poop. Regardless.
But you just said it tasted good.
No, that's what they say. It tastes good.
Honestly, if it
probably doesn't, but
if it tastes good, I'm in.
It's a novelty.
Ben, it's poop.
I'm in if it tastes good.
It probably doesn't even taste good. It's probably the worst coffee in the world, but it's a novelty.
It's poop.
It's
if you know anything about me, I like to try things that are novelties and I like to have experiences.
Well,
poop
I don't know about
is not novelty. Everything poops.
But this is a novelty.
It's poop.
But it's a cute little creature that poops out coffee beans.
And regardless of whether it cannot digest the coffee beans or not, it came out of his butthole. It had poop on it.
Mike, would you eat Rocky Mountain oysters?
No, because they're testicles. Listen, let me ask you this. Let's ignore the coffee bean discussion for a second. Table that.
Okay, table.
Is there anything else in this world that you would stick in your mouth after it came out of something's butthole? Name me one thing that you would put in your mouth after it came out of something's butthole.
Well, so
do I have a story for you?
Come on,
Ben.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
That's exactly the point. Nothing.
Unless
it's poop.
Get this,
but
unless it's coffee beans.
But people do use mulch, and where does mulch come from?
Buttholes.
They don't put it in their mouth, Josiah.
Yeah, but they grow things with it.
They grow
grab
things
it in their
with it.
hands and go.
Well, you don't do that with civet poop either.
They grind it up and they put it in a drink. It's still poop.
No. You clean all the poop away.
That's what they say.
Gets cleaned away.
Once again, even if they guaranteed you everything was clean, is there anything that you would put in your mouth that came out of something butthole?
Well,
even if they're like, it's clean, I swear it's clean, even though it came out of the butthole.
Maybe.
No. The answer is no.
Okay.
The answer is definitively
I could go into some really adult conversations here, but I won't.
Ben,
but if it's clean enough,
the rule is you clean it first.
Yeah.
And then you can put it wherever you want to.
That's what they did
but
with
the thing is,
poop.
No. But you're eating it. You're ingesting it.
No, you're not.
You're ingesting something that came out of something else's butthole.
It's the same rule. You clean it off.
No, but you're not ingesting anything in that other sense. Because if you're ingesting something, it's poop. It's poop.
How did we get here?
Because you two drink and eat things that make no sense. We're supposed to be talking about spooky stuff.
I like poopy stuff. I like adventurous food. What can I say?
And that's kind of spooky to some people.
This is the spooky dooky stuff that my wife was talking
This is the freaky deaky stuff.
That's not freaky deaky. It's poopy. It's all poopy.
Poopy can be a little
Spooky
freaky.
dookie and freaky deaky.
Poopy can get
Listen,
freaky.
That's this episode's name. Spooky
cutting this
dookie and
off.
freaky.
We're stopping this conversation. Ben, you have some really cool, crazy, spooky stories.
I don't know. I don't know if they
stuff.
can beat civet poop.
Everything can beat civet poop because you're not putting it in your mouth. Ben, I want to hear these really cool stories. I've been waiting since we started this podcast.
We've been teasing this out for a while now. Like I remember in the beginning days of Epic Man podcast, back in the the glorious opening of this podcast, we were talking about some we were talking about some supernatural stuff, and Ben was like, I have some crazy stories about that. And we're oh,
been just teasing it.
They live up to expectations.
He's been tickling our sensations, just
tickling the sensation. Yeah,
just drawing us out here, just waiting for that opportunity to tell us these epic.
So one of these stories, and this is the one I'll start off with.
I feel like I kind of want to picture of us. It's kind of like around a campfire right now. Kind of talk
because that's the best place to tell spooky stories.
Let's pretend that we're around a campfire right now with our listeners as well. We're all just around one big old campfire. We're all holding hands. Maybe
hold on.
I am sitting inside watching you guys from the window, not cold, not drinking coffee, drinking cocoa that didn't come out of an animal's butthole.
You can come outside. Happy. You can come outside with us and drink some hot cider.
I absolutely refuse to do that.
Do you not like hot cider?
That is irrelevant to the story.
He probably doesn't.
That is irrelevant to the story that we're telling. I don't get it. It's just apple. It's just crappy apple juice.
No, it's an upgraded version of apple juice.
It's crappy apple juice. I'd rather have apple juice.
Wow. Okay.
Ben, what are you doing? That's supposed to be fire sounds.
And Ben's with.
It sounds like somebody pissing in a toilet.
All right, Ben, just tell your story.
He's like looking at us. He's like,
I'm trying.
Everyone just pretend that there's a campfire going right now. Okay,
we're pretending.
All right, Ben,
please
tell your
story.
Like
somebody pissing in a toilet.
All right, there's a campfire going. Anyway, so I'm going to start with this story.
Okay.
It's not mine.
Okay.
But it's a really good spooky story.
So we're right. Okay. All right.
So this is from someone that I worked with a long time ago.
Okay.
Guy in his probably like his 60s, right? Okay. So he told me the story about when he was a kid. And he heard this story from like this was his story. Okay, this one was his story. He has a couple stories, but this was his story. Mm-hmm. So he lived with his grandparents at the time, right? Mm-hmm. And one day his grandpa died, right? And so and they lived in like a house like in the kind of in a field or whatever, and his grandpa died, but there was this rocking chair that his grandpa always used to sit in and rock in every night. And so he and his grandma were going to I think they were going to like a church service or something late that night, and they went to the church service. This was like I don't remember exactly how long it was after his grandpa died, but they like went to this church service, and when they were driving home, they came up to the house and all the lights were on. Like they turned all the lights off, they'd locked the doors, all the lights were on, and the silhouette of his rocking chair was just rocking like back and forth in the window. And he said it was one of the scariest things that ever happened to him. It's like that was one of the creepiest moments of his life. And that wasn't like the only scary thing that like happened at his house. Apparently there was like these two little kids that came and like knocked on their door and like asked them to play. And he closed the door to go like ask his grandma if it was okay if he went and played with them. And like when he came back, they were nowhere to be seen, and they just disappeared and never saw anything from them ever again. And like there was no neighbors nearby. It was just these two random like little children that just like knocked on the door and then just disappeared.
Okay.
Yeah, which I thought was freaking creepy.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, it's something about about kids like really freaks me out. There's like some really good stories.
Kids are terrifying, dude.
Yeah, there's like there's one neighborhood, I don't remember where it is, but like the common story is that there's this little girl that's always chasing her ball, and it's like people from this neighborhood are always seeing like the ghost of this little kid like chasing after her ball. And you know, she doesn't have a family and she doesn't have a name and stuff, and like people ask her if she needs help and she just laughs and runs after her ball.
Wow.
It's like freaking creepy.
Yeah.
Wow.
But anyway, wanted to start
Story
with
number
that
one.
because-
It was a good
yeah,
story.
Yeah.
You got us really warmed up.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Warm me up for
I
some
like it.
ghosties.
I
Warm
like
me up
it.
for some ghosties.
I feel warmed up now,
All right,
especially
more.
by this campfire and stuff.
Something
more.
that I want to do. This isn't like an experience I've had, but this is something I want to do, and I know Josiah wants to do this too. Is I really want to go to an asylum,
Yes.
like an abandoned asylum,
Yes.
because I am a scaredy cat, and I will be terrified doing that. But I want to do it because for some reason, thrills like that, I don't know. They
that's
the type of
Ben
excitement
gets off when he's
that I
scared.
seek.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. No, I'm
Scare
totally
me, Daddy.
Yeah. I'm totally there with
But
you.
I am absolutely a firm believer in like spirits and stuff like that, because I feel like there's enough evidence to prove that existence of some sort, whether that be, I don't know. And like, I think one of my favorite theories about it is like how like almost like places replaying memories.
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite theory for ghosts, is like people being able to see memories that a building is broadcasting, almost like how buildings like intake things.
Yeah.
Like stuff lives in buildings, if that makes sense, or like memories live in buildings. And so that's just something, even if it's just like a moment from your past, you're like reliving that almost. I think that's one of the best explanations for ghosts and stuff.
Well, it's interesting because a lot of ghost stories kind of give like almost like brief snippets of things that happen there, you know, like of like those places and stuff. Like you don't just see a ghost. Like usually when people say that they have like that they've seen a ghost or whatever, they all say that they basically saw very commonly the same type of activity that was being done. But like the girl in the ball story, like, you know, girl chasing
a
the ball.
bunch of people constantly saw that same thing.
Right. Like, and then there's this one place actually here in Michigan that I was reading about, where basically there's this little like ghost girl and stuff that will walk up and try to like hold somebody's hand and stuff when they're going by. And so that's like another thing, very common action that this ghost will continue to do time and time again. Up in Traverse City, there's also like an asylum up there where there was a priest that committed suicide by hanging, and apparently people will commonly see the priest like getting ready to like hang himself and stuff too. So very common activities that are seen almost like repeatedly. So it makes you wonder if that's like a ghost or if it's like almost like a fragment of time that people are able to see again and again or something, or what.
Right.
So,
well, and I think that's where that theory comes from, is like so many people seeing the same thing or like feeling the same thing. Like, is it that we can see like moments of time that are imprinted in a place or a building or the earth, even in some ways, I guess. Like it's just interesting because like nobody really knows like why these things happen, but all we can do is theorize as to why these things happen. It's like they're scientifically, you can't really explain them. Like
it could just be it could be like an anomaly or something almost.
Right, exactly. So I don't know, but I mean I've had like just brief times where I felt myself touched, like a cold touch on my shoulder. That's definitely been one of the scariest things. I constantly, like, this is something that has happened to me recently, but, you know, probably last within a year or so. Like mysteriously hearing my name being called by nobody, or my name whispered in my ear.
Really?
That's like, like genuinely just stuff that freaks me out every time. Like I half the time, like I'll just be sitting there and I'll hear it, like, and I'll just like I'll answer because I feel like someone's calling my name, and nobody's there ever. Like nothing. And it's always freaked me out. And that's something that like consistently for years has happened. And then like I felt my leg has been tugged before, just out of nowhere. Just like my leg's just been pulled.
Someone's pulling your leg out there.
Yeah, right. Maybe.
Damn it.
Yeah. But I think one that caps it off, and this is probably my most vivid, like I've never seen a ghostly presence like a lot of people have, but I felt what feels like a supernatural presence in some ways, or I've heard or seen or have that idea. But I think one of my most vivid stories, I was at my grandparents' house, which isn't very old. It's actually a relatively new house. And I was sleeping in their den, which is right by like the door, the exit or entrance to the house. And I was on the couch, and like everybody else was sleeping upstairs. Everybody had gone to bed. It was dark, and there was like one light on. It's like a night light on in the hallway, right? So once again, I preface this. I had searched the entire bottom floor of the house. Everybody had gone to bed, including my grandparents. And I had a clear view of the stairwell to see anybody coming up and down the stairs. And I could see the hallway where my grandparents would leave their bedroom. So there was nobody there. But I was just sitting there, and I was just kind of like laying there trying to fall asleep, right? And I heard footsteps coming down the stairs. But I looked out there to try to see if there was someone there, and there was nobody there. And I sat there for a solid minute just watching the stairs, and I heard the creaking of the stairs, like literally the sounds that it makes when people walk up and down the stairs.
Yeah.
And then I heard the refrigerator door open. And I didn't move. I was like, I'm not moving. Yeah. And I heard the sound of the refrigerator door opening, and then I heard it shut, and then I heard footsteps going back up the stairs.
What? But you didn't see anything at all.
I didn't see anything. It was literally just like audio cues.
Wow.
And I was so scared. Like to this day, I've never, like, that was one of the scariest things that's happened to me personally, because I couldn't explain it. I asked every single person. I was like, was someone in the kitchen? And I was like, but I knew that nobody was, because I knew everybody had gone to bed.
Right.
But like, I was trying to explain it, and that, hey, were you in the kitchen last night? Or, hey, and then everybody was like, no, I was in bed, or no, I was upstairs. But like, it was that very distinct sound of feet on the stairs and refrigerator door opening and closing that has never left my memory. Like, it's just like imprinted there. It's such a distinct.
How old were
sound.
you when that happened?
I was probably like 15 or 16 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever had things that happened to you when you were younger? Like, because yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. Not that I super like I
not that you can remember anything or,
no. Yeah. I have, in the recent years, I've started to forget a lot of the things that have happened to me, I guess. And part of that comes from like my mind recently, like over the last year or two, has been so clouded by just like a lot of different things that I've dealt with myself. So a lot of that I think I've repressed. I think I've got a lot of repressed memory, but I can't really access it anymore. It's like, it feels very foggy. It feels a lot foggier than it was, like a few years ago.
Right.
So there's a lot of things that I don't remember near as well as I used to. So I don't know. There might have been stuff that happened that I don't remember super well. But yeah,
it's crazy, man.
And I mean, another, like, obviously we talked about deja vu in an earlier episode, but something like deja vu happens to me all the time. Like, it's abnormal how much it happens.
Same.
Like it's just consistently and constant. There's always something, even if it's a tiny brief moment in my day, I feel like I've lived it before, and a bunch of this other stuff. So I guess that all kind of goes hand in hand. But that's definitely one of my most just vivid, like, things that lasted for a long time, that left an imprint, and I don't think I'll ever forget that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah. So I had a lot more stuff that I dealt with when I was younger. Like in my before I was like about 10, I had a lot of really bad nightmares.
Okay.
And they were almost like these feverish type of dreams and stuff. But I remember that there was this one time where, this was back when we lived in a very old house and stuff up in northern Michigan. And we had like I had like my bedroom, it was upstairs, and I remember that there was just this one night where where like it was very dark in there and stuff, but even in the darkness there was something even darker in the darkness. I know that's really hard to explain, but
I know what you mean.
Yeah, so there's like a dark figure who is in the room, who's like kind of like almost like moving around like really fast around the room and stuff.
That's crazy.
And like it was definitely some sort of figure. It had a very ominous dread like what we talked about before. I had that feeling of dread come over me when I saw this like figure who was kind of like, it was almost like he was like looking around my room or something, but he was moving in an unnatural like fast way and stuff.
Right.
And he had like a weird like hat on, almost like a weird kind of like hunchback type thing, but it was very hard to kind of figure out what he looked like exactly and stuff. And I don't remember this, but my parents heard me scream and they came running upstairs and they saw me. And I was like, I had a flashlight and I was like shining it on the wall and stuff. And I was just like freaking out. And they said that I kept on saying over and over again, fast eyes. He has fast eyes and stuff. And yeah, so they didn't see anything. They didn't know what I was talking about. But my parents, even to this day, remember that and stuff. And so I saw something. And I remember bits and pieces of when that happened. Mm-hmm. But I don't remember when I was saying like fast eyes or anything. I do remember them coming upstairs, but it was all like it's all fragmented and stuff. But yeah,
I think this kind of similar. What reminds me of is Insidious. What this thing that like, so basically this has stopped in the last 5 years, but I used to be able to control my dreams a lot.
Oh, you're a lucid dreamer.
Yeah, not only lucid dreams, but I would see. I genuinely believed that I saw myself while I was sleeping, like astral projection.
Oh, you might be an astral projector. Wow.
Yeah, but that's something that stopped like 5 years ago, and it's never happened again. But that's something I remember from being a kid. Is like sometimes I would like see myself sleeping. And I'd like be able to control my own dreams in a lot of ways. And I could change the outcomes of these dreams that happen. Yeah. Like I will remember one time when, commonly when you are going to wake up and you fall, but like you never hit anything because you wake up. Yeah. Right. I was able to stop that, like to stop myself from falling in my dream and a lot. Right. And it was just really weird. Like, I can't really explain how I did it, but I was never conscious. It was always something that I was just changing as it was happening. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Like I said, I never could really explain that. And it was just really weird. But that's another just like supernatural thing almost that occurs or happens. It was really freaky in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. Also, sleep paralysis. Sleep paralysis is something that's happened to me before too. Yeah. And that is genuinely that's the most terrifying thing.
I've had that happen too.
I've actually never had sleep paralysis happen.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I've had dreams that like I couldn't like move around or like do stuff in, but never to the point where I felt like I've never been like awake and like laying there like
unable to move and stuff.
Yeah. Unable to move. Yeah, I've never had that. I've had dreams where I wasn't able to move or whatever or like talk. But so this is for everybody. I thought this was actually really cool trick I learned. Somebody taught me this. Said if you ever are in a situation where you're in sleep paralysis or in a dream and you can't wake up, they said wiggle your toes. So that's actually something I've learned how to do on my own. Because I've had dreams like, so like other times sleep paralysis, I've ever heard like you're awake and you can like look around and stuff, but you can't.
Your body's just not awake.
See, I'm never like that. It's just that I'm sleeping and I realize that I'm like laying there asleep and I can't move. But I've never like I can't look around the room. My eyes aren't open. I'm like just sleeping. But somebody taught me how to do that. And so like what I do is I'll focus really hard on wiggling my toes. And then once I can wiggle my toes, I'll start to move my legs. And then I can like move my arms around and stuff. And then eventually it'll work. It takes a little bit, but it'll work up to my head and I'll wake up.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's super freaky when it does happen.
Yeah.
But like, but because I've always heard the stories about people, I've always heard stories about people that struggled with that and like I've heard like the stories about like seeing things in the room, like that's like
sleep
a weird
paralysis demon
thing. Yeah, that everybody can see like things watching you in the room and stuff like that, you know.
Yep.
Which I have a theory that I almost sometimes wonder if that's actually you watching yourself, you know,
right,
like you're almost watching like a figure of yourself like sleeping. But yeah, like that, yeah, the whole sleep paralysis demon, the fact that somebody can see something watching you at night, is always kind of crazy to me. But the fact that you can like move your toes and like if you focus hard enough you can move around and stuff almost means that like there's something you do still have some kind of control of what you're doing.
Right.
It's actually really rare though. Lucid dreamers are actually kind of are pretty rare, Ben. Like that's actually kind of a cool thing. I have a friend who also is a pretty lucid dreamer. They have really weird dreams too, but they're really lucid in that they can interact within their dreams and like they're usually aware that they're dreaming or they're aware that something's not right in their dreams. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
The only other thing that I really can say that I've had that I've been into some houses where there has been like definitely some sort of like demonic presence or something before, which is always kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
Well, you get like this weird feeling of dread, like we've talked about.
I've felt
you
that
really
before,
do feel that. And it's a very hard feeling to explain, but it's definitely a feeling where you know that there's something that isn't quite right with where you are and stuff. Right. And so like I had a friend who was very, very into looking for demonic presence in houses and stuff. And so we would actually he had this thing where we would go into like a house and he would like if it was a house where he would feel something, he would then start like trying to look for signs of like demonic presence and stuff. It's like, okay, well, I don't know if I really want to be doing that, but
don't want to search it out.
I don't know if that's really a good thing to be doing, but
there's some people that I feel like are equipped for it. And then some people that aren't. Like if you're not ready for it or you don't want to do it, you shouldn't have to. I read a book a long time ago that was kind of about that. Like it was like from they're more of a Christian perspective, but that's what they do too. Is it's like it wasn't like outright exorcism where they were like finding a person, strapping them down to a bed or anything, but they would go into places because they would hear about these things that were going on. And I think that there's a truth to, for even people that don't necessarily believe in the spiritual and stuff, I think there's a truth to the fact that you can fill places with like energy in a way. Like I mean, you have people that like like you can, I think anybody, even even people that don't believe in the spiritual aspect of life can remember going to people's houses that are known to be more depressed and more sad, like people that are like way more negative. You go to their house and like you can feel like the depression in the house. It's not like like a happy great time when you're there. And it's not just the person, it's sometimes the
whole atmosphere.
The whole atmosphere.
And
so I mean like there's definitely like a thought to that, but in this book they had a couple different stories. Like there was one where they went into like this hotel, people were complaining because they kept having like people when they'd go in this one room they'd get sick, and they had like multiple employees quit, more than they ever had before. And there's all these like guests were complaining about having nightmares and having really weird smells and stuff. They couldn't figure out what was going on, and they had found out that there was like this weird cult that had like rented out one of their ballrooms and done a weird like sacrificial like thing in the middle of this room. They didn't know about it until later. They were like, oh, we had these people in, and he goes, oh, I actually know those people and stuff like that. And they actually like found like traces of like blood in the carpet or something, if I remember correctly, and stuff. And they cleaned it, and they were like, yeah, we like cleansed the room or whatever, how you want to do that. Like for them specifically, they because they were Christian leaning, they prayed over the place. And one of the things that like Christians will sometimes do is anoint things with like oil. They'll like put oil on things and like
holy water.
Oil. Or holy water. That's more Catholic, but like Christian, like oil is one thing. Like a lot of churches I went to, they use like oil. Like you anoint things with oil because it's like
vegetable oil or olive oil.
Olive oil.
Okay. Yeah, good.
Yeah, like olive oil because like the oil is supposed to be like representative, like when David in the Bible got anointed as king, they put oil on his head, or like they used to anoint each other with oil, like you put oil on somebody's forehead to like bless them, you know, because it sticks. Yeah. It's like it resists water.
I'm more into avocado oil than olive oil these days, but
that's because you also drink coffee that has poop in it. So,
but here we came full circle.
yeah. But like the concept is really fascinating about that, or you know, you hear stories about people that, you know, I so like this is I've heard stories about people that got freaked out by like a book or a movie or something. They're like, dude, I went to throw it away. Or like one time, like I had a buddy who was telling me like he went to go like break a disc, that like he had a nightmare about like a video game or something that freaked him out. He went to go break the disc and the disc wouldn't break. You know, like weird stuff like that, you know. So you hear like weird stories like that, or you know, or even people being in their house and hearing a ghost and then like interacting with it and asking it to leave and it leaving because they asked it to, you know, or things.
Oh yeah.
So it's interesting that like, sometimes we have effects on our environment. We don't even like,
well, I'm also a very firm believer in that if you seek things out, you will find it. Yeah. And so there's a lot of people who will start to get into, you know, whatever, you know, demonic stuff, or they'll start looking for ghosts more frequently and actively. And I think that when you start to do that, you will start to find more of that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, that literally happened with my friend and stuff. Like when he started to really get into that more and more, he would tell me all sorts of like really crazy stuff that would happen in his life and stuff. So
I have friends that like, I mean, this is not going to be the only episodes we do on this, because there's a ton of stories we have, and some of these I'd have to collab with friends to make sure I can tell these stories and stuff, because I have friends that have some really, really crazy stories, like really crazy stuff. But I think that one of the interesting things is like is our ability to interact and like you said, seeking and finding, because the thing is, I think there is a world beyond what we see in our world. And we, as we talked about in the last episode, like the power of belief, but sometimes, you know, even more so, there's like a consistency in that humanity as a whole. One of the things that we've always talked about and every culture talks about and every culture deals with is life after death and what that means and what that looks like. And there are stories of presences living on after death in every culture.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, you know, and often they're not different. They respond. It's like the difference in culture is how they respond to it, not that it's like different. Like there's stories about ghosts all the time and the deceased.
Even in the Bible.
Like, even in the Bible, you know.
Like there's when Jesus died and stuff, there was ghosts that would come to Jerusalem that were just like hanging out and stuff. So
like dead bodies rose up and or even like the whole thing in Kings where Samuel died, like he was a prophet that died, and the king wanted to talk to him one more time after he died, so he hired a soothsayer to like bring him back from the dead, and he was like, dude, you messed up now, buddy. Like, and he called him out for it. He's like, you shouldn't have done this. But you know, I mean, the thing is like one of the things in the Bible, like this is like a thing where people talk about like don't wear tattoos, but in the Bible specifically what it says is don't tattoo yourself with like markings of the dead. Like it says like don't like mark yourself with like markings of the dead, whatever, like with markings that try to like summon the dead and stuff. It also tells you like it warns of not practicing anything that like would raise the dead back. You know,
like necromancy.
Well, that was very strong stuff that was coming from some of the like Egyptian cultures and stuff that they were coming out of and stuff, where they would do a lot of that type of stuff. Because so Egyptians were very connected with a lot of the dead or the afterlife or whatever. I mean, that's basically what a lot of their mythology is based on in a lot of ways and stuff. So
it's crazy, man. And I don't know, there's like, so this has been one thing that I've like noticed too. I told Josiah about this the other day. I'm not going to say the name of the thing because I don't want somebody stupid listening to go out and do this. Apparently there was like these people on TikTok started finding out that there's this ritual that this guy figured out how to do. And so a bunch of people, because they thought it was cool, started going out and doing this ritual. The thing is, the ritual is extremely precise in how you have to carry it out. And these people were like, a lot of people were fucking it up. And what ended up happening is they're like, dude, I screwed up really bad. and didn't finish it correctly, and now I'm seeing like shadows on the walls that are following me around, or like just for things like that, where like people are like reporting the fact that they're having like struggles now. And one of the responses to these people was a guy who's a Catholic priest, and he's like, I've heard of this thing before. Not a lot of people have heard of this ritual, but I've heard of this ritual. I've had to deal with and help people that have dealt with this ritual before and help like cleanse them so that they can get past this because their whole lives are messed up. He goes, stop doing this. Like, stop going out of your way to do this, because when you dabble in stuff you don't understand, like you end up in a bad spot. Because even the conclusion, supposedly the conclusion, whatever this ritual is, if you do it correctly, is that you end up cursed with knowledge about something specifically and how the world works that you can never get rid of. So even if you do it, it's still like bittersweet because you gain access to knowledge that you didn't have before, but like forever you have to deal with this like new knowledge that you have. So even with that, like, so even those kind of concepts are like interesting, because you know, sometimes you wonder, even if we go the other side of it, because I believe in the spiritual and the supernatural, but even for people that don't believe in it or like skeptic of it, even if it's just unlocking a neural pathway that you didn't have access to before, like, you know, taking mushrooms can supposedly rewire your brain, then doing that may be detrimental to you because that's not how your brain is supposed to function.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep, exactly.
It's crazy stuff, man.
It is. It really is.
Yeah. I'm going to have nightmares. It's great. Super
Same.
excited.
Stoked.
Ben's like, great. We're still talking about this. This is awesome.
Stoked.
Go back to talking about poop coffee. I don't know, though. I might be having more nightmares about poop coffee than I would about ghosts.
Yeah.
Poop
I mean,
and yeah.
I mean,
poop coffee and ghosts.
It's very interesting whenever you come to a place where you get that feeling of dread and stuff. I haven't been anywhere like that in a while, but it's been a few years, but yeah, like even sometimes going out into like the woods and stuff, like in the forest, going way out deep in the forest and stuff, like sometimes you get that feeling too.
Yeah,
like,
which is why I don't do it. Which is why you guys are outside in this campfire, imaginary campfire, and my ass is in the house safe. I'm good. My house isn't haunted.
Houses aren't safe.
My house is, the one I'm in is fine. If it's imaginary, then my imaginary house is safe. And your asses are outside with the dog men and the ghosts and the ghouls and the gobbygooks and the chupacabras and drinking poop coffee, and my ass is safe in the house.
The poop coffee is what wards us away. It wards off the evil.
Nope, it just invites it in. Ghosts are like, they're drinking poop coffee. These mother effers are trying to mess with the balance of nature.
Is it weird though that even though like you get that feeling of dread, and if you felt that feeling of dread, you know what that feels like? Is it weird though that even when I feel that, I don't really care and I don't mind, and I wouldn't mind, you know, like seeing what's going on and stuff?
That's
like,
kind of weird. Freaking twisted psychopath.
Like I get that feeling sometimes. It's like, I kind of want to.
This is what you get.
This more.
This is what you get for drinking poop coffee and beer. Don't drink poop coffee and beer, and you won't try to chase.
Like it doesn't make me want to run away. It makes me want to continue to move forward.
Yes.
Towards it.
Yeah, totally. Yep. Nope. That's not normal. That's weird. You should run away from those things. Listen, if it's a wild animal, like it's scary enough. Like if a wild animal approaches you in the woods, like you should stay away from it, because like wild animals are dangerous. Yeah. Even as human beings, like I could beat the crap out of a raccoon, but it doesn't mean it's not going to scratch me and hurt me on the way through that fight. You know what I'm saying? And then you
get a wild boar.
You start getting in a wild boar. You start getting a bear, and then you're going to turn around
hunt a wild boar with a spear. You know,
and then you're going to turn around and talk about some creature that has like supernatural properties and be like, man, I got to find out what that is. No.
Let's go.
See, that's why you would die in a horror movie. Because everybody's like, oh,
because you watch those movies. Yeah. You watch those movies and it's dark and you're like, don't go down that hallway. And they're like,
I got to go down the hallway because I heard a sound. So I got to go investigate.
I saw a video the other day. It's one of my favorite ones. Actually, there are two videos that are similar, but yeah, it's of this guy, and it was he like walks into, it was like if black people were in horror movies, and the guy like opens up a door to his like, it's like a building. He opens up the door and he hears like, ooh. He just closes the door, locks it, gets in the car, and leaves. And then there was like another video where the guy was like, he's starting like a security job. He got like a security badge. He's walking down a hallway, and he like looks down the end of the hallway, and one of the lights like flickers and then goes out. And he's like, nah, it's not worth it. Pulls his badge off on the table and walks out. That's what I'm saying. That's what you should do. You don't keep walking down the hallway. You go, it's not worth it.
That actually, that happened with me once when I was, when I used to do like cleaning for banks and stuff. Like,
really?
At one of the banks that I was cleaning, there's this kind of like side room, and like nobody ever like went in there and stuff. Even when I was like getting training to clean it, they were like, oh, like nobody goes in there and stuff. But the door was always like cracked open.
No.
And so I was like cleaning one night, and suddenly the light like starts flickering in there. And it was just like flickering and flickering. And I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. So I was, just kept on doing my thing, just cleaning and stuff. And the light was just kept on flickering. And then eventually just like stopped, and it just stayed on. It didn't go off. It stayed back on. So I was like, huh. So then I just like decided to just open the door and just stand in there a little bit and just be like, what's going on in here? But nothing happened. It's fine.
You know what I would have done? I would have shut that damn door. They would have came back and be like, why is that door closed? I'm like, does it matter? Karen, does it affect your job? Because it affects my job. Because I almost quit last night because your shitty lights are flickering, scared the crap out of me. That's why that door's closed. Because I'm not messing with ghosts. You know, like the song in Ghostbusters, like I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Yeah,
I am afraid of some ghosts.
No, but sometimes you just got to stand in there and just mingle, And
no, that's not what I think. Listen, if I'm not alone, if I'm with a group of people, maybe we make it work.
Yeah,
because strength in numbers. But you know what's not going to happen? My ass ain't going down the hallway by myself. We're not splitting up as a group. We're not splitting off in the individual sections. You're not sending me down the hall. No.
2 a.m. when everyone else is sleeping and stuff. And
nope, my ass will go right back to. I'll roll right back over, go right back to sleep. I'll grab one of you and bring you close to me, and we'll be cuddling all night together.
Yeah. Well, I was like cleaning my bank, and it was like, I don't know, it was after midnight, and there's nobody. It's dead. Everything is dead. Just me. Just waltzing.
Why
there.
are you like this?
Why are you like this?
We already know why he's like this. It's the poop coffee and the beer.
That's true.
That vanilla beer puts boldness in his balls. He just can't stop it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
My legs have fallen asleep.
Probably just the Viking in me, Just want that thrill of adventure, Just keep seeking for new things.
I'm pretty sure Vikings would have stayed away from that stuff too.
Nah, they
pretty sure your
it.
ancestors were looking at you going, bro, stop.
There's a reason why that comes on. They went all the way to frickin' America. They're like, you know what? Iceland is cool and all, but I feel like we could do better.
It's because they were trying to get away from Iceland because of all the drugger. They were like, listen, there are a lot of ghosts and stuff here, and we messed up. And
let's go.
Some of these guys didn't go to Valhalla. We got to get out of here. Oh my gosh.
Good times.
Spooky month is not going the way I was hoping it was gonna.
Spooky month.
Just wait until our conversation next week. It's gonna be crazy, guys. It's gonna be crazy. So yeah. With that being said, thank you everyone for coming out to our spooky bonfire. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hope that you enjoyed.
I'm so sorry.
Hope you got.
So sorry I wouldn't let you in the house, but
it's even weirder that Mike is in the house yelling at us through the window than it is us being outside around the fire.
Whole time. It's muted. You assholes! I'm not dealing with this. Yeah, that's what you get.
Thank you for being
That makes you the weird one here, Mike.
I'm fine with this because my ass is safe in the house.
Well, is it though?
Yeah.
Strength in numbers. You're alone in there. So
and Josiah and I are together.
Yeah,
with all of our listeners
drinking your poop coffee. Some of the listeners were in the house with me.
I don't know if any of the listeners were in the house with you.
Enough of them that I felt safe.
Yeah. So with that being said, we hope that you enjoyed this episode, and I hope that you guys are enjoying spooky month. We have a couple more episodes for you guys for this month as well, so make sure that you check out our episode next week. With that being said, if you're listening or watching us on YouTube, then please comment and subscribe and all that good stuff. And if you're listening to us on your favorite audio podcast platform, then please leave a review. We'd appreciate that a lot. Hope you guys have a great day, and we will catch you all next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.